Good morning. Today we're going to continue with our assembly of SmallKat. We're going to start today with the mechanical assembly. We're going to take all of our brackets that will have servos in them, and we're going to add the servos. Now, the first thing we need to do before adding the servos onto our brackets is lay out our pieces and make sure that we have everything. So, you should have 2 neck pieces, 2 neck covers with the little hole in it, 2 of the side covers with the little hook shape, 4 of the covers for the shoulder, 4 covers for the bottom link, and 4 covers for the hip link. You'll also need 16 of these washers that will go in the plastic pieces to provide a nice smooth rolling surface without adding much weight. You'll also need 36 of the M5 by 10 screws, as well as 8 M3 nutserts and 8 of our M3 by 16 bolts. Alright, now if you have all your pieces, let's begin. The first thing we're going to need to do is add the nutserts to our shoulder pieces. Now our shoulder pieces come, as with all the pieces here, in a left and a right version. Make sure you have 2 lefts and 2 rights. The cat has 4 legs, so that should make sense. Now, this is one of our shoulder pieces. We'll notice that the nutsert is going to go here and here on each of the shoulder pieces. So, easiest way to do this process is to use a soldering iron to insert our nutsert, but you gotta be careful. The most overlooked thing that happens when doing nutserts, especially tiny ones, is the alignment with all of the rest of the holes doesn't necessarily work. So we're going to do something to ensure that that does work. We're going to start by putting the bolt about that far into the hole. Not quite enough for the nutsert to go completely down. We want a little bit of the brass sticking up. And then we're going to thread our nutsert onto this bolt. Alright. Cool. So, the reason we're going to do this is when we heat press this bolt, this nutsert in, the bolt will keep it aligned with the thread holes. And the fact that the bolt is nice and tight means that it will push through just the right amount of thread hole for our bolt. Now, I'm going to go ahead and add all of the bolts to our shoulder pieces, and then we'll move on. Great. All of our nutserts are inserted onto the bolts, and they're ready for heat cert. Now, I'm going to grab a little stone box that I picked up in Agra when I went to visit, and it's made of marble, pink marble, and we're going to use this as our heat resistant component here as I insert the heat certs. There we go. Alright. Now, just use a soldering iron, and we apply a little bit of pressure and a little bit of patience. There we go. Now we can both see it. time to heat up the heat cert. And the bolt. Once it does, it'll just sink through. You need to apply a little bit of pressure, but not a lot. And you just need to be patient. Always pays to be a little bit patient. There it starts to go. And once it goes rather quickly. Great. Now just let this rest. And you can see that that's what it looks like when the nutsert is inserted all the way. It just sinks into its little home. And the other one sitting there waiting to be done. Alright. I'll go ahead and get the rest of these done, and then we'll come back. Alright, great. All our heated inserts are now inserted. We're going to go through and remove all the support material from our printed parts. Now, I'm going to go through and do one of each of the pieces and then finish off the rest. So, first set of things that come out is, this is one of our neck pieces, and we're going to pull out the bits on the inside. So this is the support material for where the servo would go. Just we're going to pull it off. And depending on your printer, this is more or less easy to pull off. And you just want to be careful to get all the support material out without breaking any of your pieces. Shouldn't be too hard, but sometimes it puts up a little bit more of a fight. It's alright. Just gotta be persistent and pull the pieces out. One chunk at a time. Great. Now it's starting to come. Pulling out the pieces. And the more you can twist, the easier it goes usually. The PLA plastic is nice and hard, so it should shear completely off. Good. We can use the side of our pliers to clean off any of the little boogers that may have shown up on our parts. Always being mindful to clean up the parts. Alright, now we're going to grab the support material out of the bottom cavity. And this one comes out much cleaner. Almost all in one shot. A little bit over here. And a little bit over there. Great. Alright, there's the next piece, nice and clean. Let's take a look at that. Interior cavity, bottom cavity. Make sure to get this little hole right here. This little hole. If this is filled with material here, you won't be able to get the cord of your servo through that, so just make sure that bit's clear. Cool. Alright, one neck piece. I'll move on onto the shoulder. So the shoulder piece already has that heated insert in there. That's okay. We're going to clear out the interior. Jam my pliers in, give it a good twist. It comes out all in one piece. Great. There's the interior. Again, making sure that hole is nice and clear. Next up, the hip. So the first little bit is the part that's inside where the horn's going to go. Just pull that right out. Any other little strings or pokers, you just clear off the side of the pliers. And we have our void on the bottom. Just dive in, twist. Ooh, you want to get it across the line. Twist. And it comes out. Dive in, twist. And that comes. There you go. Shoulder piece, nice and clean. Next up, we have the shin bone. And for this, there's only a little teeny bit in the hole where the horn's going to go. But you got to make sure you clear that out. Right like that. There also might be a little support material on the bottom side of our rounded corners. Just want to clear that right off. Cool. And again, making sure that hole there is nice and clear. Alright. Lastly, we have our foot. So the foot has a little bit of support material in the hole where the horn's going to go. So we want to clear that out. Make sure you get it all the way down to the point where you can see the holes for the horn. And a couple little bits of support material on the bottom side here, depending on your slicing settings. And the little support pillars at the bottom of the foot already broke off, so those are already gone. Alright. So I'm going to go through and clean up the rest of the parts. Alright, great. Now that all of our support material has been removed, let's go ahead and start adding servos. So the way the servos are added to our system is that we put the servos into the plastic pieces, but we don't put the horns on yet. We put those on last after everything's plugged in. Otherwise, we don't know where the servo is going to be when it starts up. So, first thing we're going to do is go and add the servos to all the pieces. So I'll do one of each, and then I'll turn it off, finish the rest, and we'll continue. Alright, let's jump right in. So, the servos come from the manufacturer with a motor and a little bag of hardware. So, we're going to take a little bag of hardware, and we're going to put it aside somewhere very safe, because there are two pieces in here we really need. But we don't need them yet, so we're going to put them aside. Alright. Now, let's take our first neck piece. Could be a neck, could be the tail. These two pieces are exactly the same. And we're going to do the motor at the end first. So, the way these motors go in is the cord has to sort of tuck up towards the little flanges while everything gets pushed in. You want to make sure that it's tucked up here, otherwise the plastic coming past it will cut that cord. Really don't want that to happen. That would be bad. And then we're going to have the cord come over, and oopsie, I forgot that we had to thread the cord through the little hole first. So slide that motor right back out. And remember, the cord needs to go through the connection before we begin. Alright. Through there. And then, as we lay this in, we want to make sure that the cord's going to fold in a way that's neat and flat. So, first thing we do is we're going to line up everything. And we want the cord to fold up and over and go straight through. So we just want to keep everything nice and neat. Now, if you got a twist in that cord, you got to grab it from the other side and twist it to correct it. You want to make sure that there's no twist in that cord as it comes across. And we want to have it seated all the way in there. See how it's nice and flush here? We're going to zoom right in on this. There we go. See how it's nice and flush. No separation between the motor and the top surface there. They're nice and flush. That's what it looks like when it's in. The cord comes right across, doesn't sit up at all. No twist. Cord comes all the way through. So that's what all our motors should look like when they're in their plastic piece. Now, to hold this in place, we put our little bitty cover on. Oops, sorry, that's the cover for the other side. This one is the cover with the little hook, because it matches the hook shape there. We're going to use our... Come on down. There we go. That's looking good. So we're going to use the cover with the hook to cover up our servo motor. Great. I'm going to put the 2 screws into the cover to begin with. Just until they start coming through. And then we're going to place the cover on, hold it in place, and tighten it down. Just until it's tight. Don't want to strip out those screws. That's why we're not going to use a drill for this. Only going to use a screwdriver. Just enough to hold that cover on. Perfect. Great. You'll notice that the servo and the little nub are both on the same side. Alright, that's one down. Before we begin, we're going to need to feed our cord through to the other side. There you go. Fed that cord right through. And now it's coming out on the same side with the motor. Cool. Let's grab our next motor. Put its little bag aside. And on this motor, both the cords are going to be on the same side, which is great. Nice and convenient. So just make sure both the cords are out of the way of the motor as it slides in. We're going to slide in our second motor to the neck. See it going in there? And just like our other motor, we need to be nice and flush. So if there's any question as to whether or not it's going to be going in flush, just use our nice pliers here to squeeze it into place. Gentle, gentle, gentle. We don't want to break anything. We don't want to damage anything, but we definitely want that motor nice and flush in place. There you go. Perfect. Now we'll add our second plate, and this one has our cords coming through it. So, cord number 1 and cord number 2 requires a little bit of willy. Put it through there. There you go. Just a little bit more effort. Great. Now the 2 cords will come through our cover plate, and the cover plate aligns with our holes. screws in, and we'll have our neck ready to roll. Screw number 1. Great. And screw number 2. Goes in nice and clean. Alright. So you notice there might be a little bit of a bitty gap there. A little bitty gap, especially underneath where the cord is. That's okay. That helps keep pressure on the system and keep everything nice and tight and snug. So there you go. There's one of our neck pieces ready to roll. Alright, let's do the next 2. Sorry, 3. To do one of the legs. Alright, so we'll start up at the shoulder with the shoulder mount. Grab another motor. Put it off to the side. Take our very special hardware bag. Put that somewhere special. Take our cord. Put it through the hole. And we want to be really careful, again, about making sure that the cord doesn't get pinched when it folds up and over. So, twist the cord, get it just so if it were to come up and over, you'd have no twisting whatsoever. Take a few seconds of just paying attention, and you can get it to fold nicely. Once it starts going in, it should go in nice and click snug. That's how you know you got a good print. The servo slides in snugly, but without requiring sanding or filing. And that last little bit can be hard to do by hand. So you just do that last little snug with the pliers. Good. There you go. Nice and snug. Nice and flush. With the cord coming out. Alright, so we're going to put on one of our covers. Alright, I prepped the cover by putting the 2 little screws in. We hold it just in alignment with our screw holes. First one goes in nice and clean. Remember, not too tight, just until it starts getting snug. And the second hole, just until it starts getting snug. Don't over tighten. Again, we have a little bit of bulge on the side with the cable. Nice and snug on the other side. The other side should be nice and flush. There you go. Nice and flush. Good. There you go. Alright. Get our nice hip joint. Another motor. Take our special hardware bag and put it somewhere here. Take the motor and put its cord through first. Through there. Oops. through. And then, just remember the cord's going to have to come up and over the motor. So you want to follow the path on the motor that you want the cord to follow, and then twist it down at the hole until the alignment's right. And again, we want that just to be a nice snug fit. Should pop into place. Nice and snug. Nice and snug. Last little teeny bit. We use our pliers just to snug it up. So that last bit can be hard to get with your fingers. Alright. And just be careful not to pinch the wire anywhere while you're doing this. Great. Let's grab our piece with the rounded corners, and we're going to align those, chamfered corners with the chamfered corners on the hip piece. Start by putting our 2 screws into the plate. All right. And just until it gets tight. Just be careful not to strip the screw. I'm going to go just until it's tight. There you go. All right. Now, one more piece on this step, which is the first of our receiver washers. So anytime you see one of these circles, you're going to take one of the washers, you're going to put it in there. You might need a little bit of pliers to pop it in, but that's going to live in there. And what that does is creates a nice round surface for the nubs to slide across. Okay, so every time you see one of those, you're going to put one of the washers in. Now these 4 are put onto the body, and we'll do that when we do assembly. All right, last servo. And our 2 pieces. Put this somewhere safe. Start with our cord. Put the cord through the cord hole. Sometimes you got to poke it through. And again, we're going to take our servo, align it the way we want it, follow the cord in the path that we want it to have, and then align the servo into position. Oopsie. I got one little twist I got to get out of there. This one can be a little bit difficult. There you go. Nice. Push that all the way in. Use our pliers to get the last little bit. Great. One more corner. Cool. All right. Now, this piece, the shin bone, takes the cover clipped off. And the clipped off section goes right in there. Let's start by putting our screws into the cover. Just until they're tight. And just until they're tight. Now, in addition to a servo, this one also has one of our round holes. So we take another one of our washers and put it in there. There we go. And for our last piece, this one just gets a washer. No servo in the last link. Use that, tighten that up. Great. Now I'm going to go through and do that to the rest of them. Great. There we go. All of our pieces are now assembled. So, let's move on to the next step. Thank you for watching.